The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Detroit.
The MHSAA Football State Finals are presented by Arby's.
You gotta have the will. You gotta get more physical. Do what you gotta do. How you feel?
On the day after Thanksgiving, we're thankful for this matchup. Brother Rice looking for their first successful title defense. And they will face the Muskegon team with its own championship history and only one loss this season. Rice and Muskegon each trying for their fourth state title in the last 13 years, meeting for the Division II title here at Ford Field. Good afternoon. Happy holiday weekend to you. John Keating with Rob Rubik. So here come the Big Reds from across the state of Michigan with a triple threat offensively.
Yeah, good luck. This is a Veer team that executes extremely well, and they got talent at all the positions. And it starts with the one back in John King. He has the ability to take it to the distance each and every play. And then Marcus Smith also coming off the edge. But he's not the only Smith in the house. You got Jalen Smith, the quarterback, who orchestrates this offense and does an outstanding job.
You can't run the ball without the big guys up front. Muskegon is big, but they haven't seen anything like they'll see today in Brother Rice.
Well, Brian Walker and Sean Powell, the backs for Brother Rice, benefit from these fellas right here. You look at how big, 270, 230, 240, 240, and 230. They are houses. They're road graders. They can run block, but they're also very skilled if Rice has to throw the ball in pass blocking as well.
We're really looking forward to this one. It could be the best game we'll see all weekend. Between them, these two schools have combined to win 10 state championships. Another one is up for grabs this afternoon. Two traditional powers exactly where they expected to be. Kickoff of the Division II title game is next. Do not, no. All right, I'm here. Yep. Talkback going in 3, 2, 1.
Short and sweet ice.
Mic check. Rob Rubik keeping it short and sweet in the open.
Back at Ford Field just in time for the kickoff to get the Division II championship game going. Brother Rice will kick off to Muskegon, and that is Jason Alessi, who will put his foot into the ball. And we are underway as Alessi sends it into the end zone. The automatic touchback rule is in effect, and Muskegon will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Well, Jalen Smith, the leader of the Big Reds, You have to like this young man, savvy. Also, you know what, John? He gets it done week after week, and that's what that consistency is what you need, especially when you're reading that offensive tackle or defensive tackle in the severe offense, and he's tough. He just gets knocked down 150 pounds, keeps on ticking, boy. He's like the Timex watch.
And Rocky Balboa makes him tough?
Oh, you think?
Yeah, indeed he is. Jalen Smith will keep it, and he'll pull out of one tackle and approach midfield. Alessi with the stop.
And you look at Brother Rice, and what's going to happen is keep an eye on John Reschke, number 33. He's going to be right here. He's going to run. He's got quarterback, but you got to make the play. You got to go inside out. He goes a little bit outside in. Smith makes a miss. 25 yards later, first down, Big Reds.
Quick handoff. John King. He's finding some running room, and he's all the way to the 40. An 15-yard pickup. John Plasky with the stop. Rice in position to make some plays, but Muskegon is making it hurt. From the 41, 1st and 10 for the Big Reds. That semi-shotgun offense, the ski gun, it's known.
There we go.
Brother Rice saying, hang on a second, we gotta get set here. They'll call a quick timeout, 2 plays in to the championship game. Just a chance to weather the storm, it would seem, for the Warriors of Al Fracassa. The legendary coach of Brother Rice is largely involved with the offense. He leaves the defensive play calling to his coordinators. Take a look at how the two teams reached Ford Field, and our road to the finals is presented by Big Boy. You see Muskegon getting past Midland and then Caledonia, and then Brother Rice handled Wyandotte Roosevelt with ease after knocking off Walled Lake Western in the regional championship game. And the Big Reds and the Warriors meeting here at Ford Field. Each trying for their 4th state championship in 13 years. For Muskegon, it's 4 in the last 9, 4 in the last 13 for Al Fracassa's Warriors. From the 41. The Big Reds of Shane Fairfield. 1st and 10. On the right side, Marcus Smith. Tackled by Jason Alessi.
Well, Alessi does a nice job on this option. Rice forces the pitch. It's going to go to your right. Keep an eye on the quarterback. Pulls it on the inside. Now he's got the option. No cat and mouse there. Makes Smith commit. Alessi kept outside leverage. You see, he kept working to the outside of the receiver, forcing the running back to turn inside, but Smith decided to still try to get the edge, and Alessi was there, so it was well defended by Rice.
Jalen Smith quite deceptive with ball fakes. Keeps it, pitches. Marcus Smith brought down at the 40. Alessi and John Plasky. We've mentioned their names more than once early on.
It's pulled, it's pitched, but there's a counted every single guy in offense, the pitch man, quarterback taken care of, Plasky, Alessi there, and that's how you got to get to the option. You have to have man on man. It's all about assignment football. Initially, not getting blocked, getting play side, getting flow.
3rd and 9. Passes well beyond the intended target, Keandre Craig. And so that will lead us to 4th down.
And a drive that, looked so promising for the Big Reds. All of a sudden, Rice takes a timeout on the defensive side of the ball, which I have no problem with. Everyone's, you save your timeouts for offense. So sometimes if you get on your heels defensively, it gives your team time to gather. The coaches kind of assess things, and they make a few adjustments, and that's what Rice did. Now the Big Reds end up punting on this drive, although they have established field position.
Sherman Hodges back to punt. Alessi back deep to return it. And it will bounce and into the end zone. And Rice will take over at their own 20-yard line. So a couple of touchbacks and change of possession. Each team begins from their own 20-yard line. Brother Rice 11-2 during the course of their trip to get here. Muskegon 12-1. Shane Lockenaria, the senior quarterback for Birmingham, Brother Rice.
Yeah, you know what? And he's the senior. This kid has never missed a workout in 4 years. And in the pocket, and his mechanics show that he's been at every workout for 4 years. Very solid.
And we'll see Brother Rice alternate quarterbacks for a time during the course of today's game, we think.
Every other series, we're thinking.
Lockenaria, full house backfield. Keeps it. Finding some running room. Nice pickup. Gain of about 7 yards before John King brings him down. Walker, Marzak, Fly, Canaria, brother of Shane, and Kayafoulis. And then up front, as we mentioned in our open, Marsh Peroni, Baltrusatis, Phillips, and Griffin Anderson. Big hosses up front. And Muskegon hasn't dealt with this kind of size on an opposing offensive line so far this season, and that is a concern to Muskegon head coach Shane Fairfield. 2nd and 3. Second back through. Ryan Walker met head on by pretty much everybody on the Big Reds defense.
You know, we talk about Muskegon defensively, maybe not playing a team with this size of this type of size up front, but I'm not sure Rice has seen a team with this type of quickness up front. Let's watch those defensive linemen get penetration, get into the backfield. Walker ends up running into the back of Austin Brown, but the reason was that Austin was met in the backfield. Good penetration by this front of the Big Reds. This is going to be a fast, physical game.
3rd and 3 now. Lockenaria, 5'9" and 165, the quarterback. Pitch. Sean Powell spins away from trouble. Down the far sideline he goes. Sean Powell. Tackled from behind by Deshaun Thrower. Not many people are going to reel in Sean Powell, but Deshaun Thrower got there.
You're going to watch this. It's just going to be a toss. They're going to pitch it going. No, stop it. Right here. There's nothing. Look at this. And it's all congested. Let it run. And he's just able to spin out of it. The defender comes up that time, and that was John King. He gets sucked inside when he thinks Powell's tackled. But look at the speed of Thrower running down Powell. Touchdown saving tackle.
A 54-yard pickup for Al Fracasa's Warriors. Inside the 20. Warriors 1st and 10.
A full outlaw wishbone look.
Ryan Walker. He's the back that pretty much runs downhill. Let's take a look at what Muskegon is challenging Brother Rice with. Jenkins and Clare and Sims and Walton up front. Hunt, King, and Brown the linebackers. End of the defensive backfield. Hall and Dockery and Hodges. And you just saw the speed of Deshaun Thrower. Not much of a gain. 2nd down and 9 for Rice. Greg Marzak, the fullback, inching his way in the direction of the 15-yard line after a gain of 3 or so. Hunt and Dockery on the stop.
Now look, this is unbalanced. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right of the center. They're trying to get you by formation and run power that way, but too much penetration at the point of attack. But Demetrius Brown breaks the play down, and you gotta appreciate Shane Fairfield and this team being ready for anything. That's something you just don't see a lot. Rice hasn't shown. They come out unbalanced. Muskegon ready for it.
Great contained by the Muskegon defense. Lockenaria putting it up. Got a man. Touchdown. Brother to brother. Shane to Corey. The Lockenarias click on a 16-yard scoring strike, and first blood in this one to Brother Rice.
This is a good catch, but an outstanding throw by Shane Lockenaria. There's not a lot of room, as you're going to see, able to get inside position. The safety's coming over the top. The thrower takes a bad angle and allows Corey locked an area to get behind him, and the ball was placed perfectly by brother Shane.
What a pass.
And what a drive by Rice coming out early on. After looking like they're on their heels defensively, they answer the bell.
Alessi on for the point after try. That's up and through. And brother Rice marches downfield. The first chance they have with the football. And brother to brother, it's a 7-0 lead. Brother Rice, 2 of 2 on third down conversions in that drive as they marched 80 yards. Downfield, it only took them 3 minutes and 22 seconds to do so. The long run and then the connection from Shane to Corey. Lock an area to lock an area. And it's a 7-0 lead. Alessi puts his foot into that one. Into the end zone it will go. And right to the 20-yard line again for Muskegon.
It starts, I want to say a broken play, but an ad-lib by Sean Powell, the all-state wrestler. He's able to get to the edge. If not for thrower's speed running him down, he would have scored in this play. And then some play action. Look at the time in the pocket that Shane Lacaneri is going to have, finding his brother Corey down the field. Well-thrown ball. Rice strikes quickly and a little bit of authority on that drive.
Now you'll see the quarterback 2.5 yards behind center. So sort of a half of a shotgun.
Ski gun.
They call it the ski gun.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Muskegon.
I didn't know if you had that bit of information.
Muskegon is known as Ski Town. Marcus Smith looking for some running room around the right side. Kevin Henry knocking him down.
Kevin Henry, interesting story, the 12th one in his family male to compete and play football at Brother Rice.
All for Al Fracassa, obviously, since the coach has been there since 1968. 2nd and 8.
It was like your senior year in high school, wasn't it, Keith?
Almost. 2nd and 8 for Jalen Smith. To pass. He'll pitch it. Marcus Smith is sort of a safety valve. And a nice tackle from behind by John Reschke. Reschke 6'3", 232 on his way to Michigan State after a gain of 4 coming up with the tackle.
Well, this is a purely ad-lib by Jalen Smith. This play is starting to break down. He feels the pressure. He just pitches it back to Marcus Smith. And this play looked like it's going to go. But Reschke's shown that he can run a little bit. Number 33, who's basically a spy. And we're going to look sometime at this 3-3-1 set they're running defensively. We'll see at times.
3rd and 4 for the Big Reds. Down Love 7 early in the first quarter. Another pitch. Monte Briggs. First down yardage around the right side. Briggs 5'8", 185, a senior. Scored the first touchdown in their semifinal win over Caledonia. Very nice average for Briggs.
He didn't even make the open with those type of numbers. That just shows you the offensive weapons this Big Reds team has. I guess we call John King the one back, like the super back or the fullback. The other two, Smith.
Another pitch. Again, it's Briggs. This time the left side. There's a flag on the play. Right in front of the Muskegon bench. Alessi knocking the ball carrier out of bounds.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard foul. Repeat first down.
It'll be pretty much of a wash after the mark off because it's a spot foul, and the foul occurred about 10 yards down the field. And that's when you run that wide stuff and you run the option up in your upper left-hand corner. You can see the jersey being tugged down a little bit. Sherman Hodges got just a little bit too much of the defender and he gets called. But when you run the wide stuff and you run the option, it puts a lot of pressure on your receivers. They have to maintain their blocks for a long time. When that defender, you can get into his middle, but you can grab him up tight. But once he starts trying to separate from you, you have to let go.
So not much damage done. 1st and 9. Smith just too tall for his intended receiver, Keandre Craig. Jalen Smith's got a nice little arm. Jalen Smith is known to his coach anyway as flatline. Doesn't get too high or too low. Very even keeled. He had 141 yards and carries in that 31-3 win over Caledonia. Over Wyandotte Roosevelt to get here to the championship game. Check that, that was against Caledonia. Pitch. Marcus Smith from Jalen Smith.
Rice taking the, I'm sorry, John, but Rice is taking the ball out of Jalen Smith's hands in the sense that they're taking him and forcing him to pitch the ball and push everything, funnel everything to the outside. And the Big Reds looking like they're going to go for it here. 4th and 2, or 3rd and 2. Oh, I'm sorry, it's only 3rd. 3rd and 2. They've kept things pretty tight. See if they try to spread Rice out.
Well, the plays coming in from the sideline from Shane Fairfield and his staff. Handoff straight ahead. He is met right at the line of scrimmage was Javonte Langston. My goodness.
Wow, 4th and 2. Great job filling inside. We'll get another look here. Crashing down from the defensive end. Nice job. That's Sergio Perkovic squeezing things down. Wow, the Big Reds 3rd and 2. Now a 4th and 1. Coach Shane Fairfield electing to try to play a little field position and punt the ball. When you have those type of weapons on offense as a coach, it's always tempting, Keats, that think, man, we can get a first down, especially if it's only 1 yard. Sure. But you have to play the percentages.
Just a kick it. Alessi is back. Jason Alessi cuts right, now back left. And not much running room there. We'll step aside. It's 7-0 Rice on top of Muskegon. First quarter continues at Ford Field. Rice goes to offense. The Big Reds of Muskegon shift to defense, and within that D is an intriguing story, and Shannon Hogan joins us with more on that.
That's right, John. Ken Finley, he's the all-conference defensive lineman for Muskegon. He's happy to even be alive and to be here playing in the state finals, and he has a unique story. When he was 6 years old, he was in a very serious car wreck in which he actually died for 5 minutes. They were able to bring him back to life. And now, here he is in the state finals. He wasn't even sure he was ever going to be able to play football. They had to put that off for a number of years, but able to battle back, and I'm sure his parents are really proud to be watching him here in the state finals, John.
There's Kenneth Finley, number 59. Thanks, Shannon. Great story. There's been a change in quarterback now for Rice. Alex Malzone, the sophomore, is in. Lockett area just leads them to a drive, and all right, next. Malzone, the better thrower of the two. 2nd and 14 after a loss of 4 on first down for the Warriors. From the shotgun, Malzone got a man, Grant Perry, and he spins inside the 40. Jordan Ware brought him down after a gain of 21. So from the Rice 41, the Warriors will take the chains and move on.
And this is Verlander-esque here. Watch him step into this ball and the zip that comes on. He takes a shot a little bit late by Jenkins. But the young man, they say that he's got a live arm, that the ball comes out hot, and we saw right there, it got there in a heartbeat.
6'3" and 192 pounds, and again, only a sophomore. Had his man right there, but it went through the hands of the intended receiver, Dominic Perkovic.
Well, this young man, only a sophomore. They think, you know, the sky is the limit for him. And the accuracy, which we saw in that last one, He gets the ball on point each and every time. I think he almost had the last play we just saw where the ball fell incomplete, where he's trying to locate his tight end, Lucas Shiraki, across the middle. He wasn't ready. He was kind of looking his tight end off. He was looking outside and threw it back across the middle for a strike, but incomplete.
2nd and 10. Malzone will put it up again. Again, he'll find a man. That's Joshua Fly. Jordan Ware with a stop. Gain of 9, short of first down yardage.
And this is just pitch and catch. I'm not sure this is not automatic. You look at the distance they have there. That's just about 10 yards, and that's too much. That's an automatic. Just sit down, squat, throw the curl, taking candy from a baby. Good job, well executed, young man. And the thing you gotta like about Malzone is once he decides to throw that little 5-yard curl, the ball is getting there in a hurry. And Rice right now really looking methodical on offense and very efficient.
From Al Fracasa's standpoint, Lockett area won you a state championship last year, and he's loyal to his upperclassmen, and so that's why Shane remains in there. But now Malzone getting more regular snaps. 3rd and 1. Handoff. Walker finding first down yardage beyond midfield after a gain of 3. The chains will move. The Rice drive continues.
Yeah, the big fellas we talked about our opener, right up here along the front, you're going to get a little bit of push. Ronald Jenkins, number 50, is a man. You see him getting into the backfield. I talked to the coaches from Rice. Coach Sofron said, this kid, number 50, 6'1", 255, he was a point guard on the basketball team. At 6'1", 255, and he's an explosive player.
Sean Powell, the deep back. And another first down for the Warriors, who really have it rolling right now. They're 3 of 3 on 3rd down conversion attempts.
You can see Malzone looking up in the air like it's going to be a drop back. Just gets it to Paul underneath, and Paul's got some quicks, great balance. You got to love those feet of wrestlers. They're just so hard to knock off their pins. Most times you don't see them at the running back. You see them more in the defensive line, John, because they're so strong through the hands. They know how to keep people off their legs. But Sean Powell's showing that wrestlers can be athletes as well, out carrying the football.
Malzone, handoff, Walker. Ryan Walker, 5'8" and 225. He is a load. Gain of 4 right there. It's Devontae Dockery on the stop. Final seconds of the first quarter.
Look at Corey Lockenaria. First touchdown of the game, the only touchdown so far for Rice.
And we have reached the end of the first quarter. The only score in this first quarter was by the Warriors of Rice. Muskegon coming in with that gaudy 12-1 record. But they trail by a touchdown to Rice, the defending state champs. Will continue from Ford Field on the other side of a break. The great Al Fracassa turned 80 years young last month actually. They surprised him with a birthday cake at school. And he knows that this might be his last chance to coach one of these, and he is reveling in it right now. His team up by 7, looking for more. Complete to Sergio Perkovic.
This kid can throw. Watch this Malzone. This is not a long throw, but there's a very small window. They're going to run a clear out post with the outside. Watch 30 come in motion. Perkovic, he's going to run a little bit of it out. There's not a lot of room to put this football, and it's right on the money. Now, Perkovic, don't do that too often. Yeah. Coach Al will have you sitting by him now, I guarantee that. You stick that ball out like a loaf of bread.
The brothers Perkovic, Dominic and Sergio, both tight ends in this offense. Now being run by Alex Malzone. From the 25. Walker. He is a punishing runner. John Hill bringing him down.
Well, when you run the football, you can either take the hit or you can give the hit. Jenkins can't quite get him. He lowers his shoulder just out of the screen, but he is going to deliver the punishment to the defender. And I always say this, Keats, I played a lot of years of football. I never minded getting hit. Never hurt. Getting tackled, getting hit. But hitting to me hurt. And that's why I always played offense and like the defense. You get your arm in there, and about 3 of your teammates smack you in the back, smack your arms, all that friendly fire.
2nd and 7. Malzone will keep it, looking for some running room. Muskegon does a nice job of stringing the play out. Javante Langston among those in pursuit. Gain of 3 on the play. Another one of those third down opportunities or challenges for Rice, depending on your point of view. Shane Lockenaria engineered the first drive. Alex Malzone, the sophomore, has come in for the second. And he has his team inside the 10-yard line.
It's a big time drive there. When you go 4:42, 10 plays. Now can they finish it? Can they close the deal here? So they got man coverage outside.
Got a man. Touchdown. Joshua Fly waited for the defender to make his move and then made his and found the end zone. A 9-yard connection between Malzone and Fly, and it's a 13-0 Rice lead.
Well, Shane Fairfield and his staff rolled the dice a little bit. They're playing man outside. As you watch it here, they're bringing pressure. The Russian 7. That means you're locked up man-to-man. Fly against thrower, and just a little bit too quick. The help comes over the top from Jordan Ware just a little bit too late.
Alessi is on to tack on the 14th point against the Big Reds. He's got it. So it's a 14-0 lead, which earns a hug from the coach.
You have to appreciate, as a receiver, a quarterback like Malzone who can get the ball to you so quickly. Doesn't stay in flight very long. That gives you the opportunity to turn up the field and make a play once you get the ball. And the quickness of Fly, just a little bit too much for thrower. And here's another look as he drops back. Looks, you know, this young kid, sophomore, see him looking down the middle of the field. He knew he had man-to-man outside. He knew where he was going with the ball, and it's hard to teach that to older quarterbacks, but he was able to take his vision up the middle of the field and then go to the outside, find the man coverage, and get the ball delivered on time perfectly.
We've only seen him a little bit, but already you can tell he's got that uncommon poise. Alessi will kick off. Brother Rice trying for their first ever defense of a state championship. Trying to win 2 straight for the first time in school history. Into the end zone and out to the 20 it will come.
FoxSportsDetroit.com has you covered for all the latest news and information, including interviews, highlights, videos, fan forums, and exclusives on the Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, Lions, and more. Go to FoxSportsDetroit.com, your only stop for all things Detroit sports. FoxSportsDetroit.com.
We're going to make an announcer out of you yet. Well done.
I struggle on this end. I'm happy. I get a game here that I get to come and watch 2 outstanding football teams here. Now let's see if the Big Reds, Keats, can answer. Rice offensively has been just, what's the word, efficient? I mean, methodical, precise. Muskegon has shown some signs of getting it going.
Jalen Smith picking his way through the defensive backfield of the Warriors. Talking about poise, you see that in that run from Jalen Smith, sort of waiting, and then bursting through a gain of 22 yards.
Well, an option we're going to watch, he's going to come down the line of scrimmage. He's going to read the first guy that shows up the field, but he's being blocked. He's getting a crack back here, so that takes him to the next level. Reschke overruns it, and then the cutback, and the natural ability of a quarterback to feel things around him, feel the flow of the defense go against the grain, and Jalen Smith did a lot of that on his own.
Nice job of covering up the football before he was brought down. Smith to the air this time. As a man, Marcus Smith. And into Brother Rice territory goes Marcus Smith. Lucas Cherokee with the stop.
Now we're not seeing as much of a cushion. Let it go, but it's just a hitch route. Get your athletes the ball in space, one-on-one. They'll make the first person miss. And then the pursuit comes from the inside, but a little bit too quickly. Plasky runs by him, and Marcus Smith, we highlighted in the beginning, one of the triple threat. And Jalen Smith got the ball to him quickly.
109.5 to play until halftime of the Division II championship. Smith with a pitch. Demonte Briggs Getting nice yardage from Briggs, the 5'8", 185-pound senior. Sean Jones and Jason Alessi with a stop, a gain of 13.
Well, this play is successful for a few reasons. It's going to come down here, option. Watch up the top. Okay, let it go. Smith reads it quick. He gets the ball out, and watch thrower. Stay on the block. He's got Alessi. Just keep staying on it, and a nice job reading the block and allowing your blocker to do the work. Monte Briggs. So many weapons on this Big Red offense. This is the offense we thought we'd see. They struggled the first couple possessions.
1st and 10. Smith will keep it. And just inside the 30. Josiah Thomas with a stop after a gain of 5. We don't often see, Rob, the offense looking to the bench for offensive plays to be called at the high school level.
No, but they do here, and they really get a lot of plays during the course of the game. They get in that hurry-up tempo.
2nd and 5. Spins. And met in the backfield was John King by Alberto Sandoval, among others.
Yeah, and if you want to beat the trap play, and that's one of the plays Muskegon likes to run inside, Sandoval is going to just follows the trap, the pulling guard, and King has to change his path. You saw the left guard, that's Noah Tozer. He was pulling, but once Sandoval read that pulling guard, he just squeezed down, got right on his hip, took him to the ball carrier.
John King is known to family and friends as Meach, which is a play on his middle name, Demetrius. He is Meach to those who know him. King up top, or Smith up top.
Oh my.
Had Keandre Craig open, but Craig couldn't haul it in. And it goes incomplete.
Well, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. They faked the little inside handoff. Smith does a nice job of allowing Craig to clear the linebacker, Reschke. He puts the ball right up there. And you got to get that. You know, Keandre, he hates himself more than anyone right now because that's a touchdown. Instead, you're facing with a difficult 4th down and 5.
Big play in the game. Muskegon down by 2 touchdowns in the 2nd quarter. From the 30. Jalen Smith rolling right. Keeps it. Oh, he's hit by John Reschke. And there is a flag on the play.
That's Rocky Balboa, one of the bullet points. That kid is tough, 150 pounds. Shane Fairfield, head coach, says he gets hit a lot, but he pops right up every time.
Let's check the call.
Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
The dulcet tones of Greg Santilli providing some good news for Muskegon. Trying to get on the board here against the Warriors of Rice. Rice with some last-minute substitutions, causing Muskegon to rethink. And he kind of knew where this was headed. Players coming on, players coming off. And eventually, the flag is thrown.
Substitution infraction on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
So a couple of penalties before any more football is played. And 15 big yards for Muskegon. Now inside the Rice 10. Trying to climb on the board. From Muskegon. Smith inside the 5. Jack Grisson with a stop. And we'll find out if Rice can keep the Big Reds out of the end zone here. Muskegon, one of the most offensively gifted teams in the state of Michigan. Hand off King. Fought a tough running room. Reschke and Sandoval with a stop after not much of a gain.
It's been tough sledding inside, and Coach K, Korjaneski, said coming into this game, he's a defensive coordinator, that they wanted to take the middle way. They wanted to take the trap inside and force the inside-outside veer, the play to go wide, and they've done an outstanding job. You look at how they've taken away anything inside between the guards, or the defensive tackles, has been just blown up. Nothing's been there.
John King being attended to on the sideline. Touchdown, Muskegon. Javante Langston comes into the game, and he'll scan for 3 yards to pay dirt, and Muskegon is on the board.
Well, I don't know if we had a formation error defensively. Let's take a look. Look, there's such a soft spot right here on the edge, and that's right where the play goes. They just crash down, and everything gets caught up in the wash. You see Rushke, number 33, stepping up inside. So I'm not sure if it was a misalignment, and once again, you talk to the Rice coaches, they said, you know, Muskegon has talent, but they also run so many formations that they only run a few plays, but they run them out of different formations. Sometimes they get you with personnel issues.
Henry Brazino with the point after touchdown. And it's a 14-7 game. Thanks to that young man, Javante Langston. So now that Muskegon is on the board, you can feel them settle down just a little bit. Now trailing Brother Rice by a 14-7 count, and Javante Langston coming in as John King was dinged up a little bit, and Langston taking it the final couple of yards and getting the Big Reds on the board. These two teams have been either first or second in the state rankings that some of us follow during the course of the season, and so this is where you'd expect them to be on the Friday after Thanksgiving, battling for the Division II championship. Kickoff. And it goes out of bounds. No, it didn't. It stayed in bounds. He's headed that way. It's Alessi who will pull it out to about the 13-yard line. Certainly was headed in that direction, but it stayed in play, and Alessi had to scramble to make something happen.
Well, that Muskegon scoring drive started out in the air as you see Jalen Smith finding Marcus Smith outside. A nice little gain, and then it ends on the ground with Javante Langston with the veer, the outside veer. Good read by Jalen Smith giving the ball. Touchdown Big Reds, kind of, as you said, Keith, calms things down, gets them back in it, 14-7. Now it's up to their defense, this Rice offense, and I think La Canaria will probably be back in this series if they're true to their word, and they are.
There is Shane. Shorter than his quarterback partner. From the 13. Here come the Big Reds. Walker looking for some running room and finding nothing. Ronald Jenkins with the stop. You can see the linebackers blitzing, and that caused some upheaval in the Rice offense.
Well, first of all, you're going to see Langston, number 9, come through and make Walker bubble and slow down, and then Jenkins cleans up, finishes the tackle. Good job at the point by the Big Red defense. Number 50, keep an eye on him. If you're watching this, we may not always show him on every replay, but if you watch him, he is in on a lot of things. You can tell by right there. Look at that helmet.
Look at that helmet.
It looks like my head kind of right there.
Lock an area. Finding some room to pass, but his pass is dropped by Grant Perry. Had a man.
Yep.
At about the 23-yard line, but Perry couldn't haul it in. So each team has had one of those.
You know, and in championship games, you got to make those plays. We saw Muskegon dropping earlier, Keandre Craig, and now La Canaria throwing back against his body a little bit ill-advised. But, you know, if you're Grant Perry, you've made that catch before, and you need to make it, because that could be a drive kill. Now 3rd down and 12, the Muskegon front will come at you. This is kind of a screen draw situation. Offensively, you think about doing one. You don't want to maybe air it out too much and throw a pick.
It's a tricky part of the field for Brother Rice in a championship game from the 11. Handoff inside to Marzak. He'll get it out to about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and this is the draw. It's a little bit of a sprint draw. They're going to start rolling to the right. Okay, let's watch. This quarterback's going to come this way. The flow's going to go this way, but then Marzak's going to come back with the ball. He steps, a little wraparound underneath. He's able to get by Langston. But you can see from the secondary coming up, a nice job, John Hall making a break down at least, and Langston stayed with the play and was able to get Marzak a few yards short of the first down. Now the Big Reds, after scoring, are going to get the ball back in real good field position.
You don't see those wraparound handoffs very often. Punt is away. Fair catch has been called by Sherman Hodges. And from the 46-yard line, Rice will take over. So says the officials, and we tell you that sports officiating isn't easy. It's not for everybody, but it could be for you. To become a registered high school game official, call or click the Michigan High School Athletic Association. If getting down there between the lines isn't for you, you can help keep officials in the game by respecting their efforts and their willingness to step up and help our kids. Rice on defense now, having turned the ball over on downs. Javonte Langston in the lineup behind Jalen Smith. And it's Smith keeping it. It almost looked like he was looking for somebody to pitch it to. John Pulaski.
You know, John, this is your classic midline veer. The quarterback's going to ride the dive back. He's going to come right at you here, but then he's going to pull it, and he's going to get right on the dive back's heels. So you ride him, you read the tackle, closes down, you pull it, you keep it. We talked they were like from midline, they run inside and outside veer, and that's so tough on those defensive tackles to read.
Second down, big hit. You can hear the popping of the pads. Kevin Henry with a monster hit on Jalen Smith, who was listed as 6 feet and 160. His coach told me that's generous. He's probably 145. I asked him about playing at the next level, playing some college ball. He said, well, he'd really like to get him in the weight room for a little while and maybe get some weight on him.
Maybe at the buffet table too. Yeah. I mean, get him eating, put some pounds on him.
I can teach him how to do that. 3rd and 1. Smith keeps it, now pitches it. It's Briggs, and he is brought down by Jason Alessi.
I tell you, Jalen Smith has been coached unbelievably well in this veer offense. Watch him come down the line. He pulls it. Watch him freeze Alessi a little bit. Gets outside. That's just too much speed to the edge. Because Alessi, in hindsight, you look at that, he defended that pretty well, but Imonte Briggs was able to get there. Alessi was put on an island. He really was responsible for the quarterback Smith, and Smith maybe could have kept a little bit longer and attacked Alessi, tried to get his base frozen a little bit and then pitch it to the edge.
And this veer offense is a testament to longtime Muskegon coach Tony Anise. We'll talk more about that as the day goes on. Smith trying to find some running room, cannot, and Pulaski is there after a gain of 2.
We talked about the triple threat in the open. Marcus Smith, Jalen Smith, John King. Well, you've seen the triple threat of this offense. In the first 2 series, we saw a lot of inside veer, and we saw a lot of outside veer. Now you're seeing midline. They've gone to that. They're going to, I think they felt that Brother Rice is trying to take the edge away too much, so we'll try to hit him back inside. But it's one of those yo-yo things, John. You hit him inside, you hit him outside, and once you can kind of get them on their heels, then this offense really clicks.
Smith looking to throw. Got a man. This time it's hauled in by Marcus Smith. Nice pitch and catch from quarterback to receiver, from Smith to Smith.
Jalen Smith, they're very patient on their slant. Let it run. I'm going to tell you when to stop it. He's going to drop back, a little bit of play action. Stop it. He throws right behind the linebacker. He allows the linebacker. You think they're going to throw the first slant, John, to that first opening, but instead he waits. That linebacker jumps to the first opening. They throw it behind them, and that's where Brother Rice's safety's got to read that and do a better job.
1st and 10 for the Big Reds, but running play is stacked up by Lucas Cherokee, among others. Muskegon trying to knock it in for a tying score with under 2 minutes to play now until halftime.
Coach Al, what a joy it is each year to get to talk to him. We don't even talk much X's and O's anymore. I call him, we talk about grandkids, my kid, what's going on, how's work, and he's such a figure that you enjoy talking to. He said, well, what do you need from me? I said, I just want to talk to you, Coach, so I can tell people, because you had a lot of credibility to do a broadcast.
Smith stacked up in the backfield. Peter DePore knifing into the backfield and stopping Smith dead in his tracks.
Well, DePore's on the nose, and he just does an unbelievable job of getting low pad and beating the block of Quincy Crosby, the center, and that's just quickness.
And Muskegon will call a timeout, facing a 3rd and 13 situation, a key moment in the beginning of the Division II championship. We'll step aside. We'll continue from Ford Field on the Friday after Thanksgiving. There are momentum swings in every athletic event that you see, and this is a big one in this Division II championship game. 3rd and 13 now for Muskegon. From the 19 of Brother Rice. Smith to the air. He's got a man! But his pass is beyond the reach of Marcus Smith, and that will set up a 4th down.
Well, Marcus was coming open on the corner route. A little bit of pressure, and Jalen maybe hurried the pass slightly. I thought they also had come down the middle. Keandre Craig had worked the inside of the hash to the right going down the middle of the field. I thought he was open as well. But this is a situation defensive, your Brother Rice. This is what you want to do. Put them, Muskegon, they're a 3-4 yard. They want to get that veer, pop the big one. Now you put them into you dictate to them. You're going to throw the ball. We're going to cover with 6 and 7.
4th and 13, and they'll go for it. It's beyond field goal range. There's a lateral, and now another pass. Back to Jalen Smith. He becomes the ball carrier, and he gets to the 10, but that's all.
All right, this is, you're in your backyard. You're with your 2 brothers, and this is what we're going to do. Now, you're going to go to the right. I'm going to throw it backwards to you. Now, you're going to throw it down the field. Oh, wait, that guy's covered, so you're going to start scrambling. We're going to get another look here. It's a backward pass. They want the double pass. Rice recognizes it, and now the ad-lib starts. Thrower says, oops, I'll just throw it back to you, Jalen Smith, and he tries to make something happen. But to credit of Brother Rice, look at the coverage down the field. There's no one on the double pass, and this forces the ad-lib, which falls short.
Sean Thrower throwing it to Marcus Smith, but didn't find enough running room for the 1st down, and so Rice will take over on downs now from their own 11. Under a minute to play until halftime. And again, it's Malzone. Sean Powell down the far sideline. He finds nice running room there. Gain of 11. At halftime, we'll be talking about the streak that Ithaca has going, and they'll try to look to continue that later today. Highlights from the first half of the Division II championship game. And then we've already got one of the books. The Division 8 championship was won by Harbor Beach, and if you missed any of that, we'll take you through that one. A very entertaining game involving the smaller schools making it to Ford Field. From the 21. Malzone to throw. Puts it up. Got a man wide open. Corey Locken area. Looking for some running room. Now looking for some space and for some blockers. He'll get on the other side of midfield. And now Rice becomes a hurry-up team. Gain of 30 on the play.
Well, still 2 timeouts left for Rice. High school, they will stop the clock while the chains get set. I think they crossed up Muskegon. I think Muskegon thought Rice would just come out and try to run the clock and get to the half. Instead, they take a shot down the field and it paid off.
Malzone to the air again. Got a man. Oh! He could not click with Joshua Fly this time.
Now we got a flag in the backfield. I think we're going to have a hold call. I think that was Kenneth Finley bringing the pressure.
Holding, 70 offense, 10-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
So that might change the thinking of Alfred Casa and the Warriors. 32 seconds left in the first half. Malzone from the shotgun. Brought down from behind. Nice tackle by Kenneth Finley, who Shannon talked about earlier.
Well, 50 and 59 for the Big Reds are beasts. Finley, Jenkins, these two are football players. Too much pressure inside, and when they know you're going to throw the ball, they're bringing it. And I think right now Coach Alfrecasa's staff realize they're up 14-7. Just let this clock wind down, make a few adjustments, and come out and get at it in the second half.
So we've reached halftime. Brother Rice with 2 scores. One from each quarterback. And then Muskegon answered to make it 14-7. And that's where we stand at the break of the Division II championship game.
Well, Rice is going to get on the board. First of all, brother to brother. You've seen Shane Lockenaria going down the field, find Corey's brother for the touchdown, well thrown ball. And then they get back at it again. There's Malzone showing the gun, zipping it inside, and finding Grant Perry for a nice gain. And then they continue the drive down the field, throwing the football. So he finds Perkovic outside, and then once again, Malzone showing off that powerful arm, gets the ball in space to Josh Fry, and he makes a move and gets it into the end zone.
Brother Rice 11-2 coming into this game. They have won state championships in 77, 80, 83, 90, 2000, 2005, and 2011. And they are trying to go back to back, and 80-year-old Alfrecasa is standing by with our Shannon Hogan.
Al, what is your biggest takeaway for Brother Rice from that first half?
Well, you know, we have to be able to tackle better, and our defense has got to be able to cover better the second half.
It's not every year that you see a team alternate quarterbacks like you do. What do you think both of those guys bring to this team, and why stick with both of them for the game?
Well, they're both leaders, and both of them are pretty good quarterbacks, and one is bigger than the other. That's the only thing. One weighs about 142 pounds, the other one's about 200 pounds, and they're both pretty good quarterbacks, so I trust them.
All right, always keeping the other team guessing. Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck with the second half.
Thank you.
John, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Shannon, thanks. Yeah, it's a nice 1-2 punch that Fracassa and the Warriors have, and that has led in part to their 14-7 lead at halftime of the Division II championship game at Ford Field. From here, we'll continue in a moment on Fox Sports Detroit. The pads have been popping here in the first half of the Division II championship game, matching Brother Rice against Muskegon. The Warriors have a 14-7 lead on the Big Reds through the first half of action here at Ford Field. Well, there's another team that we want to tell you about. They've got some work to do to reach the all-time record for the most consecutive wins, but there is no denying the success rate of a team from Ithaca. And with more on that, Trevor Thompson joins us.
Nestled in a small farming community just off of Highway 127 between Lansing and Mount Pleasant is Ithaca High School. It's home of one of the sweetest stadiums in the state, which holds some 3,000 fans, or pretty much the entire population of this community. A community which has a team that's riding a streak the likes of which are rarely seen at any level of sport. 41 straight wins en route to a third straight appearance in the state finals.
It's a good feeling. It's pretty amazing to think that we have one of the longest winning streaks in the nation, let alone the state.
It's great to know that our team has been this successful for 3 years, actually 4 years, and it's just a great feeling.
And they'd like their fans to know they've had a big hand in the team's success.
I hope they understand how truly special this whole 3-year run that we've been on has been, and hopefully they appreciate it, and they are thankful of our players. And I think the way that they do that is by showing up in mass.
It began in September of 2009, and the fact that it's still intact is remarkable. But from 1968 through 1975, the Hudson Tigers ripped off 72 straight wins for the state record. Needless to say, the Yellow Jackets aren't eyeing that mark quite yet.
I can't even imagine that number.
Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the streak is the style of play of the team that put it together. Not a band of big, bashing bruisers, but a fast, fearless, ferocious football family that plays with a relentlessness unmatched by their competition for the past 3 seasons.
Offensively, I think we're very up-tempo, very balanced. We can run the ball, throw the ball. We have 4 receivers, and then even guys on the bench that can come in and catch the ball and run good routes. Then defensively, I think we're undersized, but we like to use our speed and might be a little bit more physical than teams think when they first see our size.
We're real physical. Our defense hits, they'll hit people, and the defense is tough to run against.
We're not the biggest team, but we play pretty fast, and we will get after you. We'll hit you.
We try and play as fast as we can, try and put a lot of pressure on the defense, try and move the ball. There's not a lot of Class C teams that throw the ball as much as we do.
This type of streak is a once-in-a-lifetime happening. And when you're on a roll like this, you do whatever you've got to do to keep it going, on the field and off.
A lot of little things, I make sure I wear the same shorts. I wear the same pair of shorts every game for 40 games. And last year in the state finals, I had a big hole in my sock, but we were on a streak and I wasn't about to change my socks at that point. So I got to admit, there's some pretty funny things that coaches do. We're a very superstitious group, that's for sure.
If the Yellow Jackets can extend this little streak they're on, they'll join state superpowers East Grand Rapids, Farmington Hills Harrison, and Detroit Catholic Central as the only active schools in state history to win 3 straight state titles. And that just might make a 42nd straight victory the sweetest of all.
It would be amazing to go out my senior year on top with a 3rd straight state championship. Can't really ask for anything better than that.
It'd be nice to get another ring. Those are always nice.
Personally, for me, it'd be probably the sweetest just because it's my senior year and just that feeling of going out on top.
To do it twice in a row, I can't put that into words either, and I'd never even fathomed going for 3 in a row, and these players have given us that opportunity to do that, and I'll forever be thankful to them.
Ithaca is located about halfway between Lansing and Mount Pleasant, and the Yellow Jackets are facing a rematch of the 2011 final, seeking their 3rd straight title. That's coming up this afternoon at 4:30, and that matchup against Constantine will have John Wangler and Dan Gutowski calling the action for you. That's coming up later today, but we still have a half of action involving the Division II championship. Javante Langston cutting Brother Rice's lead in half in the 2nd quarter. Playing? I was pretty sure it was Constantine. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Start them over. Give time to start them over.
Who's that guy? Fly? What's Fly's first name? Joshua.
Nice to see them. Holy Christ.
Ice. He freaking plays with
Jalen's. I think I got all the names.
Who's that, Langston?
How come I can't?
Javante Langston.
How come I can't hear Mark? I can't hear shit. Talk. I can barely hear you, bud. I need more volume, but it's taped.
What now?
Oh, there you are. There you are. That helps. There you go. Got enough plays here, Ice, in your halftime? Jesus Christ. Stop.
Brother Rice and Muskegon are each seeking their 4th state championship in the last 13 years. For Muskegon, it would be their 4th in the last 9 years, and that was a big touchdown late for the Big Reds to get on the board as Brother Rice controlled this one early.
Oh, but how much fun does that have?
I mean, it went by so fast because of the quality of play, and it starts out early on. And Brother Rice, you look at Shane Lockenaria finding his brother Corey down the middle on the seam route, well-thrown football. Another look at it here, he's able to get behind the safety. And the double quarterback system's working for Rice, because you have Mel Zone zipping it all around the field as well. Finding his receiver, Sergio Perkovic, getting down the sidelines, putting him in excellent field position. And ML Zone's going to once again flip it out to Fly, who makes a nice open field move, gets in the end zone for Rice's second touchdown. And now, not to be outdone, look at Jalen Smith here, the quarterback for Muskegon. He's going to go to the air, and then he says, oh, nothing's there. I'm going to tuck it, run it. Big hit by John Rushke, but not before Smith picks up a first down. And then Langston on the outside veer, finds the edge, gets it into the end zone for the Big Reds.
And the first half highlights are brought to you by Arby's. It is 14-7, Rice at halftime, and Muskegon leading in first downs, but when Rice connects deeply, yeah, I guess that makes that sort of a moot point.
Well, they got some chunk plays. They got the ball down the field, but overall the stats indicate what type of game. 202 total yards to 182. A very even game, Keats.
All right, we've already had one championship decided here at Ford Field. As our halftime festivities continue, we will take you through that. But there is Shane Fairfield getting his guys ready for a second half. They're down by a touchdown. This Rice-Muskegon showdown is the second of the day. We've already had one championship decided, and in Division 8's championship, Harbor Beach had too much for Beale City, led by their quarterback Eli Kraft, and a big running day from Derek Puff. Harbor Beach, the Pirates, knocked off the Aggies 35-10. Still to come this afternoon, it's Constantine against Ithaca to decide the Division 6 crown, and then Division 4 will match Detroit Country Day against Grand Rapids South Christian. But we're anticipating the second half of the Division 2 championship, and we'll get that going next. The 2012 MHSAA Football Finals are brought to you by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Family is not just our name, it's the way we do business. Well, there's a great football program at Lowell, and you wonder what those kids of Noel Dean are thinking, because in 5 of the last 6 years, Muskegon has met Lowell in the playoffs. That happened again this year, and the Big Reds were able to get past Lowell to the point that they're playing against Brother Rice in the Division 2 championship game. And Shane Fairfield, in his 3rd year, saw his team come back and cut the lead in half. He's with Shannon.
Coach, what's going to be important for your guys to kind of manage the running game and the passing game for Brother Rice the second half?
Big plays. We had it pinned twice on the sideline. I don't know if that sideline's curved or what, but a couple of times we had them over there, we thought. And then they're shifty, they're patient, and then they're explosive. So when you get them stopped, they can accelerate really quick. So we got to make sure that we maintain and stop them on the first opportunity we get.
Obviously, another half of football to play. This is a very exciting matchup. What did you tell the guys in the locker room?
Yeah, we just got to keep fighting for 6 seconds at a time. You can't worry about third quarter, fourth quarter. That each play lasts about 6 seconds. So fight for 6 seconds, and then let's sustain some drives and keep their offense off the field and put some points on the board.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
John, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Shannon, thanks. We're checking that sideline. We don't think it's curved, but we have our best people working on it. 14-7, Rice over Muskegon at halftime, third quarter. Straight ahead. Well, you just heard Shane Fairfield visit with Shannon on the field, and there he is getting set for the third quarter. A few moments ago, he was addressing his team at halftime in their locker room.
We kick off defense, you understand that? Okay, defense is going to be first. We need it. We got to get the ball back. If the offense jump on them quick, then we play our game. Understand that? Sure. The difference between the winner and loser day is who woke up angry this morning. Who's willing to fight for those next 6 seconds? Okay? Remember that.
Who woke up angry this morning?
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Coach Fairfield, and he talked about taking on the trap. And he said, we're aggressive. We're going to come down. He says, I told my kids, I want to expose. I want to see his knees, ankles, elbows flying in the air. He said, I want you to wrong shoulder. We're not trying to keep leverage. We're trying to create chaos. And you can tell by the tone of his voice here in his halftime speech, he can get his kids fired up to play. A very motivated head coach.
Well, and as he continues to build the great tradition of football in Muskegon, they were helped when Muskegon Heights decided to change their philosophy, and they became a charter school, and some of the kids who played at Muskegon Heights were looking for a new place to go to school and play football, and so some of those kids moved on to play for the Big Reds. And as he said, we got the best, most character-driven of them to play for his team. They're 12-1 out of the OK Black Conference, and they're going up against a Rice team that plays out of the Catholic League Central Division and has done so for so long at such a high level. The defending state champs in Division II and looking to add on to their great tradition. We mentioned that Harbor Beach knocked off Beale City already. Constantine and Ithaca coming up at 4:30 or thereabouts. And then the Division IV championship, Country Day against South Christian. And that game will be seen on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. So the Division IV championship, if you're looking for that one, switch over. Usually it's a channel click here or there to Fox Sports Detroit Plus. But we're delighted to be with you. John Keating, Rob Rubik, and Shannon Hogan, and our producer is Mark Isofano, our director Brian Moss, and Muskegon will kick off to Brother Rice to get the third quarter going. And for the most part today, these have been sort of routine into the end zone, which brings it back out to the 20, but we shall see. This one is a short kick coming to, and it is not fielded by Brother Rice, who sort of stood and watched it bounce. Jordan Ware comes up with the recovery.
Well, I thought there were two people. I thought a Rice player could have had it. And I thought another Muskegon player in coverage comes down. They don't realize it's a live football. You see Marzak, 44, coming over. And there's number 4, Alessi, just looking at it. Marzak kind of reaches back, but also the number 24, Muskegon getting down there. Antonio Davis, looks like he had a chance at it.
This is a big turning point in this game. All of a sudden, Muskegon, which had to kick off to Rice to start the third quarter, has the ball at the Rice 25-yard line. And Jalen Smith is back in business. Smith will keep and now pitch to Imonte Briggs. Great defensive play by Jason Alessi, perhaps trying to make up for that last gaffe on special teams for the Warriors.
We're going to watch the replay. We're going to watch Alessi. They're going to bring the back in and they're going to spin back out. And Alessi, he does a nice job. He looks like he's going with the motion. He's in man-to-man and he flies up. And that's what they want to do defensively, is match up your safeties and your corners man-to-man. And when they read pitch and they read option, they come flying up. They have no responsibility behind them. And Alessi did a great job of that.
Lost about a half a yard on the play. 2nd and 11. Smith will put it up. And that ball in and out of the hands of Marcus Smith. Incomplete. 3rd and 11.
Well, this is going to be a huge play for Rice. If they get a stop here and somehow get out of this unscathed with no points to Brother Rice after the turnover, obviously, and not a heads-up play on the kick return unit to start this half. Man, if you could kind of bow up your shoulders a little bit and get a stop here.
Yeah, you can feel momentum swinging a little bit right now. Smith,
double move
up top, got a man. Marcus Smith can't pull it in. He had it in his hands, but it was defended nicely by Chris Carter, who helped knock it down. And so that will set up 4th down.
Double move, Keats. They got him. Carter bites on the first move. Look here, a little bit of a hitch, and then go, but the ball is just underthrown. So Marcus Smith has to slow down to catch it. That's going to be a touchdown if Jalen Smith can get the ball out in front. Man, you know that. Jalen realizes that's on him. And as a coach, it kills you because you set that up. They've run 2 or 3 hitches to Marcus Smith. Now you do the hitch and go. It's there, and you just don't execute.
And that's a play that could have been set up through the first half of this game. And when you get that opportunity and don't cash in, it stings a little bit. They'll go for it on 4th and 11. Smith looking to throw again. Got a man. Oh, it's through the hands of his receiver.
And that was perfect. And we talked Jalen underthrew the last one. That time, he's got Delvin Walton going down the seam, kind of like on a little post route across the coverage. This is a perfect throw. He has it. He has a touchdown. He takes the hit. He knows it. And Walton actually just over the fingertips a little bit. And the quarterback, you pay the price to make the play. As you can see, Sandoval finishing the tackle, and Jalen knows. 2 plays in a row. So close to pay dirt, but they couldn't quite get it done. And now Rice, the momentum shifts again.
Sure, absolutely.
Here, Keats.
Malzone back in there. The taller, younger quarterback. He'll hand off. It's Brian Walker looking to somehow get around the edge, but he can't. And he'll take out our microphone expert right there. Young Chase Isofano taking one for the team.
Well, good job defensively stringing it out. Walker trying to use a stiff arm, hand on the mask for just a brief second there. But you have to like Sherman Hodges pushing that to the outside. There's a look as the price is paid also by the crew on the sideline.
Everybody's given. Everybody's bleeding on this crew. 2nd and 9 now for Rice. Malzone with a pitch. Sean Powell with some blockers in front of him, but that is strung out very, very nicely by Devontae Dockery. Gain of only 1.
Tough to make money, east and west, against this Big Reds defense. A lot of speed. We're going to see to the upper right-hand part of the screen right here. Keep an eye as it comes down. Look at how he comes up with speed, outside in leverage. He takes on Walker, the blocker. I tell you, that's football. That is a football player right there. There was no avoidance. There was no, I'm going to try to olay the blocker. He took on Walker, stalemated him, slid off, made the tackle.
Great play by Dockery. Makes it 3rd and 8 for Rice. From their 28. Malzone can't find a receiver. And he is brought down from behind by John Hill. And now Rice will kick it away. Back and forth we go. Jonathan Forster on to punt for Rice. William Roberson and Sherman Hodges back for the Big Reds of Muskegon. High short punt and out of bounds at almost midfield.
The Fox Sports Detroit Girls race to 100,000 Facebook likes is on. Be sure to like the Fox Sports Detroit Girls on Facebook and follow them on Twitter.
Punt of only 21 yards. Gives it to Muskegon now at their 47-yard line. And Jalen Smith, 6 foot, a very generous 160 senior quarterback. He's got the skill set, his coach, to play at the next level. But
this game right now, John has a feeling of who's going to blink first. You know, who can make the play? That's a backwards pass.
Pass is complete to Marcus Smith. Lucas Cherokee
trying to create some space for Marcus Smith. They're going to go 3 receivers out here, a little bit of a bubble screen. That's a lateral that'll count to his rushing yards, and a nice job blocking at the point of attack by Keandre Craig. Minimal gain, but it's still, you know, you get 4 yards, which is a much more manageable 2nd and medium.
And that might be another one of those plays that sets up something down
right,
the road.
you're going to fake the bubble screen, and one of those guys in the middle who's blocking is going to release and get down the field vertical. That's a great point, John. You can take my job.
You're planting that seed. It's a multifaceted offense that the Big Reds run, and this time the facet is Jalen Smith. He held on to the football and was knocked out eventually by Chris Carter, but not before first down yardage of 22 yards forward.
I'm sorry, John, watch it. It's going to be right here. It's going to be midline. The back goes to, we said earlier, he's going to, quarterback Jalen Smith's going to get on right on the hind end. He tucks it up the field. Reschke comes up, responsible, just over pursues, comes up the field too hard. Smith makes a nice undercut, gets up the field, big game.
Well, remember, Muskegon just had a drive, Peter out. They turned it over on downs, and they're right back in Rice territory looking for the equalizing score. On the 27. Smith pulls out. Got a man just beyond the reach of his intended target, Sherman Hodges.
The last 3 passes by Jalen Smith have been also close. We saw the one that he underthrew a little bit, the one just off the fingertips, and that one once again. And the guys are getting open, but if you're Muskegon, you got to be happy. There's targets down the field. That time Sherman Hodges was able to get separation and get behind Anthony Delamonte.
Jalen Smith, a very productive day on the field thus far.
You see Rice manning up a lot, John. They're playing a lot of man. They need to allocate 7 people to the running game to stop this Veer offense.
2nd and 10. Fumble. It's recovered by Rice. It looked to be John Reschke first on the football.
When you defend the Veer, I'm pretty sure. Rice is going to come up with the football. And when you defend the Veer, one thing you can do is blow up the mesh point. You see Cherokee getting inside, number 46. The ball, I'm not sure. Yeah, you're looking here at the read. I'm not sure. I think that might fall on Jalen Smith. He's got to get it in the belly more of the dive back and then ride the dive back. It looks like he didn't stick it in the belly enough. He tries pulling it out. The ball comes loose, and Reschke, who they had to count on to have a huge day, is having that day.
Came up with a football, but lost his helmet in the process. So here comes Lockenaria back in quarterback. It is a true rotation. He's got a man. It's Ty Kayafoulis. Near first down yardage. On first down. Gain of 9. And it's a very nice difference in philosophy going from one quarterback to the next. Lockenaria can throw it. We think that Malzone almost always will throw it. Shane going up top here. He's got a man. Nice catch there by Sergio Perkovic. Big completion into Big Reds territory. A gain of 19 yards.
I know Malzone can throw the football. This young man here, Lockenaria, this ball is perfect. Look at Sergio go up, because that's good coverage. I mean, Jordan Ware is in position to make the play, but the ball is thrown high. Perkovic gets the ball at its highest point. Just well-executed offensive play. They don't miss a beat when they rotate these quarterbacks. I understand why, because you look at Malzone, the sophomore. He has all the tools. He has the poise of a senior. But how did he not get number 7, Shane Lockenaria, on the field with what he's contributed to your program over the past 3 years at the varsity level?
Another late substitution, and Rice will have to call a timeout for that reason. We'll take a timeout with them. 14-7, Rice, they've got the ball back, and they're into Muskegon territory.
Welcome back. John Reschke, you just saw for Brother Rice there, recovering the fumble and regaining momentum. We had a chance to talk to him before the game today on playing for Brother Rice and Alpha Casa, who's now in his 44th year as head coach of the Warriors.
Well, of course, it's very special. It's an honor, and a lot of people have gone through his program, and just the chance to be able to play for him is honestly an honor.
John also said it's big motivation to have a back-to-back state title here, not only because they're playing for Al, because it would be the first time that the Warriors would have ever done that in the history of their school. John, back up to you.
All right, Shannon, thanks. We tried to pin the coach down on whether this might be it. He's not conceding anything thus far. Sean Powell, the ball carrier there. And Al told us, it's like, yeah, I think about it a lot. I think about when I should retire a lot. But he's having too much fun right now to give it much thought beyond that. Winning a state championship and the first ever back-to-back might be a determining factor with a legendary coach already in the Coaching Hall of Fame. His team on the move from the 45, 2nd and 7. Down comes number 82, Delano Madison. But that play is blown up by Demetrius Brown.
We're gonna look right here. Watch Demetrius come up the field, keep his depth, not get sucked down inside. He makes a play, and even if he doesn't make it, you look at Jenkins, number 50, he's also there. Talked to Coach Fairfield. I said, give me some numbers. Guys, I want to watch on defense, Coach. And he said, well, I said, I like 59. I like 50. I like number 50. And he says, the number 5 has the ability to make big plays, and that's Demetrius Brown.
Loss of 8 makes it 3rd and 14. Blocking area. Little bubble screen. Greg Marzak got back to the line of scrimmage and then a little bit past it before he was brought down by Dalvin Walton. And Rice will punt it away.
It's like a heavyweight fight. Every time you feel like one team has the other one on its heels a little bit. We saw the big pass play converted to Perkovic. You think, oh, Rice has got to go, and then Muskegon comes up defensively, makes a couple good stops, forcing Rice now to punt the ball, and the Big Red offense gets to come back on the field.
Jonathan Forster did not have a great punt in his last effort. He'll kick this one from about his 40. That one gets away. Sherman Hodges looking for some running room. Following a blocker. Down the sideline. All the way out to the 38-yard line before John Plasky pushed him out of bounds. A 41-yard punt, a 24-yard return.
Okay, first of all, this is a little bit of a suspect decision, but Hodges decides to make the play, and then he just tells people, I'm a lot faster than you are. Not a lot to this, a little inside, a little outside. He's able to get to the corner, and Plasky doing a disciplined job there, just using the boundary as his friend, locking down inside and forcing Hodges to the sidelines and knocking him out of bounds. But a good return where it looked like the Big Reds are going to be tough field position inside their 10. Instead, they start at their own 36.
Sherman Hodges, one of those kids who transferred over from Muskegon Heights and so wanted to play for Muskegon and the Big Reds. His mom said, you got to find your own way to school. And so he would walk 6 miles to school every day. There's Jalen Smith picking his way through the defensive backfield. Brought down from behind by Jason Alessi. Smith was tasting the goal line, but Alessi was able to get there.
Oh, he's like Houdini. I think he's going to pitch the ball. He comes down the line, he pulls it. Now you think he's going to pitch it, but look at number 22 for Brother Rice. John Plasky works up the field, seeing that he knows the pitch is not going to be there. Jalen Smith tucks it, cuts it up the field, turns into a big play.
A pitch to Briggs around the left side. There's Alessi again. Jason Alessi having to make more tackles, I think, than the Rice defensive coaches would like.
Getting up hobbled a little bit as well. Jason Alessi has been a key component of this defense. Really doing a nice job running east to west, covering along. You have Reschke doing also from the inside out against this fast Muskegon defense or offense. But as much as it seems like Muskegon's hitting with the big plays, the score is still 14-7 Rice.
From the 16. Smith with a keeper. Boy, he was so elusive. Wriggled his way out of a couple of tackles before Sean Jones could get to him.
You know, we had this Muskegon team a few times on our Friday overtime show for Fox Sports, and we talked about their speed and their athleticism. But Coach Fairfield was quick to point out, yeah, we have some athletes. He said, we have an offensive line that is very physical and very disciplined, and sometimes we don't give them the props. But you look up front, Billings and King and Crosby and Tozer and Ricks are doing a fine job.
141 yards rushing already for that young man, Jalen Smith. But this time, he gets no yards. Kevin Henry and Alberto Sandoval on the stop. Gain of a couple. Now here they come. At the 5. First and goal. Smith cuts inside. Nice shoestring tackle there by Sean Jones. Gain of 2 to the 3.
If you over pursue on the veer after Jalen Smith, the quarterback, he pulls on as he starts to come to the line. If you start to try to take away the wide, he cuts it up in a minute. Right here, he sees it. Alessi takes it away, he cuts it back to the inside, and Sean Jones Jr. does a nice job.
on that play.
Oh, he gets his ankle tucked right. Let's run a little bit and then pause it. Let it go right there. Look at that. Just gets tucked underneath him. Man, that would be a huge loss.
Jalen Smith being attended to on the field. This could be an important part of the rest of this championship game. And the backup is Deshaun Thrower, looking for a ball to at least get some reps with. Thrower 6'1", 190-pound junior.
So you get a lot bigger body at the quarterback position, but not the experience and maybe not the elusiveness that you have with Jalen Smith.
You can see him testing that ankle.
He gets up from this. He's like that old, that cartoon character Gumby. He was made of rubber because that foot was squarely underneath him. The ankle got bent back over. But, you know, Coach said, we talked in our bullet points about this quarterback, what he brings. He said he's Rocky Balboa. He is tough, 150 pounds. Look at him. Trying to walk this off.
He'll come off for now. Right there, you see him trying to take a step, trying to make a cut, wincing as he does it. So Deshaun Thrower will come into the game. And remember, this is a team that right now is at the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal, down by a touchdown. Thrower trying to find his way to the end zone, dragging a would-be tackler to the 1.
Well, you know, Alessi had to buy the shirt, and then Sandoval comes over 97. You see Henry take on the dive. Looks like he's going to be pulled down, but then from the back, actually, was that Hodges? Sean Jones that was coming from the backside. It knocks him about 2 yards forward.
3rd down. Touchdown. Deshaun Thrower probably had no idea that he would enter this game as a quarterback, a championship game, and on the 2nd snap that he'll take as the quarterback, he ties the game.
Well, this is outside veer. We saw him score with Langston earlier on the give. This time, Thrower pulls it. He takes it in himself. He gets to the edge with speed. And how about Coach Fairfield and his staff? The confidence they have, and they come right in the thrower. You know, you have no choice. You better give the young man some reps during practice time, because if your quarterback goes down, everything starts and finishes in this offense with your trigger.
Now for the point after try to tie it up. It's up and it's good. And it's a 14-14 game. We got a $1:58 to play in the 3rd quarter, and we're even yet again. Muskegon has tied up Brother Rice. Jalen Smith remains seated on the Muskegon Big Reds bench as his backup, Deshaun Thrower, has entered the game and with a scamper of a yard out has tied the game. And so Jalen Smith doing what he can to keep his team up and in the game, but we don't really see Jalen testing out that gimpy ankle quite yet. Muskegon will kick it off. Rice will get the ball back in a game that's tied 14-14. Again, the same short pooch kick. This time it's Marzak. He will field it, and he'll go east and west out to the 25-yard line.
Well, Jalen Smith was the catalyst in that drive. He ended up getting knocked out as the drive went on. But it starts out, he's running the veer, he's going to cut it up, he's going to make the plays. 145, 150 pounds, tough as nails. He's able to get a big run down the field before Alessi can pull him down. And then once again, on the option, he gets it to the outside, makes a couple people miss, but he's taken a pound in this entire drive. And then after getting knocked out, you see Thrower come in, run the outside veer, pull it. And what type of confidence Sharon Fairfield and his offensive staff have there, calling number 12's number for the touchdown.
With all due respect to Deshaun Thrower, Jalen Smith is something special.
He kind of came in for the glory at the end of that drive. Smith did a lot of the foundation, laid a lot of that foundation in the course of that drive.
Malzone has come in as the 2nd quarterback for Rice. Hand off to Sean Powell. Gain of only a yard. Kenneth Finley there for the knockdown. Let's see if Malzone can get a fire lit under Brother Rice, who led in this one 14-0. And now we're tied at 14.
Well, someone asked me to come in and they said, who's going to win the game? Who do you think is favored? And I said, it's Pick'em. I really believe after you look at comparative scores, you see both teams on the limited amount of film that we do have. We do have them on it. You talk to people and you talk to the coaches. It was a Pick'em game, and that's how it's playing out so far.
From the 26. Malzone rolling right, keeping it to about the 30.
That was kind of a weird play. It was a one-man route. Only Corey Lockenaria to the right was in the pattern. He's going to be roll out to your right here. And I'm not sure what they were running. If that was supposed to be a slip screen, I think. I think maybe there was some miscommunication on that play, John, because you saw number 88 for Rice that time peeling back. That's Ty Afulis.
3rd and 5. Malzone to the air. He's got a man. Corey Lockenaria got the spot, it would seem.
He does a little jackrabbit on the sidelines. Once he catches the ball, he's coming out of the slot, just an out. He knows he's short. He dives forward with the ball, stretches out, and is able to move the chain.
Gain of 6 on the play. Will move the chains. Now from the 36. Delayed handoff. It's Walker. Ryan Walker finding going to be tough so far in this game. Final ticks in the 3rd quarter. And we're headed to the 4th. What a game we have in the Division II championship. Muskegon and Brother Rice expected to be here. They are here. It was expected to be close. It is close. 4th quarter lies ahead for us here on Fox Sports Detroit. The 2012 MHSAA Football Finals are brought to you by Arby's. Try Arby's 3 cheese and bacon sandwich with your choice of Angus or turkey. Get yours today. First snap of the 4th quarter. Malzone to the air, just beyond the reach of Grant Perry. And that will set up 3rd down for the Warriors, who have been reeled in by Muskegon.
Well, since the early 14-0 lead, the Brother Rice offense has struggled. They really haven't had much rhythm, any big plays down the field, an occasional pass completion. But overall, this defensive front of Muskegon, led by Finley and Jenkins, have really taken charge of this game.
These games are all about adjustments. Screen pass. John Reschke in for an offensive snap. With not much working right there. Gain of just 1.
It looks like they're set up a little bit of a screen to the outside to Reschke, but too much pressure too quickly by Jenkins on Malzone. He's forced to throw the ball early. And when you throw the ball early on a screen, it lets a defense recognize, and all the red shirts started flowing over to the sideline and able to stop Reschke for a short gain, forcing the punt.
Jonathan Forster into punt. He'll boom this one. It will send William Roberson back deep.
No, they're saying he never touched it. They're saying it's going to be Muskegon's ball, I believe, John. The officials pointing, saying the ball was never touched. Thus, it's just going to be where the Brother Rice player touches the ball.
Well, you can hear the boos. A 59-yard punt. there.
Can't tell by that angle. You know, could have hit his shoulder pad, maybe not, but the official had the best view in the house. He's standing right down there. I think that's a great call.
Yeah.
It really is. And look at how close the official is. He is right there.
Jalen Smith has re-entered the game. He's shaken off the effects of that gimpy ankle. And it'll be Muskegon. 1st and 10 from the 4. The effects of the ankle tested right away in the first snap. Reschke and Cherokee and Sandoval all converging on the Muskegon quarterback. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Well, you wonder if Coach Korjaneski, the defensive coordinator at Rice, is maybe going to bring a little bit of pressure, try to get some gaps, test that ankle.
He'll throw it, and he's got a man out near the 10 is Sherman Hodges. Gain of 4 before Anthony Delamonte spins him to the turf.
And Delamonte doing a nice job. Press coverage to the outside. It's read by the quarterback as well as the receiver. He breaks it off. And Delamonte showing some nice closing ability, playing a good inside-out set technique.
3rd and 4. Jalen Smith's ankle being tested by the plant and the throw. Muskegon will take a timeout. All right, so we want to remind you that MHSAA.TV will have live streaming coverage of the postgame press conference from this contest. Plus, you'll find an archive of all of this weekend's championship games. Get bonus coverage of the football finals at MHSAA.TV. All right, Brother Rubik, put yourself in the Muskegon huddle. You're in a tie game. You're deep in your own end. You've got a quarterback that is special but iffy. What are you looking to get done on 3rd and 4?
I'm looking at a first down, John. How are you going to do that? Right now, if you're Coach Shane Fairfield, you're up against a little bit. Your quarterback is not 100%. We could see that on his last carry. But you're a veer-based offense. You're midline, you're inside, outside veer. Maybe look for some type of veer, maybe with some misdirection or a pitch coming back the other way, look, slight reverse, try to get the flow of the defense going and pitch it back coming the opposite way. Or your quarterback, he looks like he's still throwing the ball pretty well. Maybe try to leak a back out, get him on a linebacker.
Tie game, 14 apiece, under 10 minutes to play. 3rd and 4 for Muskegon. Smith will look to throw, will air it out. That is well beyond the reach of the intended receiver, but there was a flag on the play, and we think he was held on his way to that football.
He gets mugged a little bit. His jersey comes pulled out. You're going to get a defensive holding call. It's going to be a first down for the Big Reds. Watch to the top of your screen. Hodges, Delamonte's got him by the face mask and the jersey. It's a potpourri for the officials to pick, but it's going to be nonetheless, it's going to be a first down.
Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You know, the crowd may not agree with it, but there are 2 people out there who know that's absolutely the right call. One is Hodges and the other one's Delamonte. They both know what happened on that play, and that's a good job of the official. Officiating, once again, the first game it was solid. This game is solid as well.
And the hundreds of thousands of people who are watching along with you on Fox Sports Detroit. A big first down for Jalen Smith and Muskegon. If you're just joining us, he sort of flipped backwards on his ankle. Had to leave the game. Back in there. Smith will pitch it, but it's fumbled, and Sean Jones will come up with a loose football. That one was out of sync from the get-go.
Look, Bryson, 35. He plays the down block, pushes off it. He gets into Jalen Smith before he could make the pitch. He was just starting to get the ball extended from his body. Bryson hits him. And Sean Jones right there to jump on the bad pitch. Rice now in business on the 12-yard line, John, and that's just defense beating the block of the offense, getting pressure. Anytime you can take that veer offense, you can get to the mesh point or you can get to the pitch point before the quarterback is ready, it creates great havoc.
Lock an area back in at quarterback. The senior with his team 1st and 10 from the 12. Trying for the go-ahead score. Shane looking for a receiver, will throw that one away.
Well, good job in the secondary. The Big Reds right now are playing just man-to-man coverage. They're putting their corners on the island, and that's what Rice sees. What they try to do is run off, and then was it Marzak they brought underneath it, trying to get him in the flat, but the linebacker jumped that route. There's nowhere for Lockenary to go with the ball. Now, you do this, and you want to put 7, 8 in the box, you better have some quality cornerbacks. And Muskegon does with Devontae Dockery and Sherman Hodges.
Lock an area, handoff, Powell picking his way, touchdown! Brother Rice takes advantage of Sean Powell, a 12-yard scamper to the end zone. That's the go-ahead score.
And this is just a stretch play. I think Muskegon, let's pause it. They're going to run Powell on the stretch right here, and he's going to get into the seam, let it go, take it into the end zone. This is just outside, and a nice blocking at the point of attack, turning the defensive end. And Powell just does the rest with a little bit of quickness getting outside. But they got blocked at the point of attack. Rice won the battle up front, and Sean Powell benefited from it.
Give Greg Marzak half credit for that touchdown. A clearing block on Sean Powell's trip to the end zone. And Alessi will come on for the extra point. He'll knock that through. And it's a 21-14 lead. Brother Rice has moved back on top of Muskegon for the first time since the first half. Fourth quarter rolls on. There's Sean Powell collecting the hugs from teammates as he and the Warriors now have a 21-14 lead. Trying to go back-to-back, trying to take state back-to-back, which is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports, to put championships back-to-back, and it's never been done in Al Fracasa's 44 years at Brother Rice. Jason Alessi boots that one into the end zone, and that's your automatic touchback.
You want to see some outstanding play at the point of attack. Let's pause this. First of all, you're going to get a hook block by the tackles is going to reach outside, and then a kick out block here. Watch this, let it go. You're going to reach a little cross block rather, buries it. Look at the hook. Nice job by Kayafoulis, the tight end, on the hook. Kick out by Marzak. Powell gets up into it. Look at the hook. Look at big number 88, Kayafoulis. You make some money as a tight end doing that. And the kick out by Marzak, and Powell's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this lane open up. And that's just unbelievable execution by an offensive line.
And there was a pancake block on his way to the end zone. Deshaun Thrower has re-entered the game. So perhaps Jalen Smith's comeback was a little bit premature.
And Sean Jones, he drops right into where the slant is and goes right through his hands. That's a pick six going the other way. And Muskegon now in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. Number one, you're down 7, where you maybe have to start throwing a little bit more. And the second of all, you have your backup quarterback in the game. And that's probably the most important factor.
And if your name is Thrower and you love football, is there any chance for you to be anything other than a quarterback? I think not.
I tap out on that one, John.
Thrower, only a junior. From Muskegon, it's on the ground. And who came away with it? They're calling it second down. Another tough exchange between quarterback and wide receiver, or running back rather.
Well, Sandoval is getting blocked on the outside, but you see, look at coming in number 8, coming to your pitches. That's Sean Jones, but it's on the handoff. It happens before Jones gets there. King's able to jump back on the ball, but that's just a lack of repetition that you don't get with a backup quarterback.
Legal formation, offense, 5-yard penalty is declined. Second down.
A lot of chirping on the field behind Greg Santilli. 9:17 to play. Sean Thrower looking to the sideline for the play from head coach Shane Fairfield. When you talk to the coach, he loves X's and O's. He can fill your head with how this Veer offense is supposed to work. And we have seen it working in chunks for the Big Reds. They're going to throw this one. No, they're not.
No way.
Marcus Smith all the way out to the 35-yard line.
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. They should have had Marcus Smith about 3 times, and he just kept ad-libbing and making plays. He just ran about 70 yards on a 15-yard gain. This is an option. It's bottled up. Right there, Perkovic turns him back. And then Henry has him by the shirt. He loses him. A dive by Hodges. Sean Jones. And there's Henry still chasing. Finally knocked out of bounds by Alessi. That is an unbelievable play. We've seen a couple here today. And now Marcus Smith gets his ankle hurt a little bit. He's on the sidelines with Jalen Smith.
My goodness.
And this depth of this Muskegon Big Reds team is being tested.
1st and 10 for the Big Reds from the 35. Down by a touchdown. Thrower will keep it. He is so sneaky. John Plasky has to wrap him up, but not before Thrower threatened to escape.
Well, Thrower has the read. He sees him pinch down on the dive back, which means he has to pull it. But Rice right now is just running everyone. Their scheme, their 3-3-1 is doing a great job. They're running all their backers to the outside backer, then the stacked short safety as well. They're getting numbers at the point of attack. They wanted to force this Big Red team away from the midline, away from the inside veer, make them go outside. If they could do that, they thought they had advantage with Reschke scraping and filling, and also Plasky as well. Linebackers have been great, John. I mean, really, for Rice.
And you know, Rob, that the thrower hasn't had the kind of reps that Jalen Smith has, and the defensive coaching staff knows that as well. Thrower will try to throw it here, and will, and that is caught by John King, and look at King rumble inside the 40.
Get your athletes the ball in space, let them make a play. Get them in a one-on-one situation and let them demonstrate their skill set. He gets the ball to John King. We see him run to Veer, the fullback. Now they get him out in space as a receiver. You know, you're starting to lose your top player. We saw Jalen Smith and Marcus Smith go out. Now you keep working down that triple threat. Now you're on John King, but you got some other guys that are stepping up as well.
28-yard pickup. Thrower. Just beyond the reach of Amonte Briggs with Jason Alessi covering. Alessi's an interesting story. He didn't have intentions on playing football for Rice. Was a quarterback. And he was such a fine kicker that some of his classmates said, well, you got to come out for the team last year. They needed a kicker. He joined the team and then was effective not only as a kicker, but emerged as a very talented safety. 10 tackles today for Jason Alessi.
He can run, John. He has unbelievable speed. We saw him run down Jalen Smith early in the game, and it looked like it was going to be a touchdown.
2nd and 10. Handoff inside to Javonte Langston. He had one of the 2 touchdowns for Muskegon in this game. Sergio Perkovic there on the stop.
Lucas Shiroki also joining in there. Good job taking that middle part of the field away. If Shane Fairfield, the head coach of Muskegon, realized you still have to test the waters. You still have to give it every now and then, run midline, run fullback trap, run that first part of the option. Just keep those linebackers honest, because if they're flying out to take your outside veer and your pitch away, you think something could happen inside, but nothing's been there.
Big 3rd down play for Muskegon. Thrower. Got a man. Out of bounds goes Sherman Hodges.
Little deception on the outside by Hodges. He throws the arm. We're going to get to see the tail end of it. Before he comes out of that cut, he throws his arm up like a receiver would do if he's running a go, like he wants to run by the defensive back. Instead, after he threw his arm up, he snapped it to the outside, and thrower delivered the ball.
Muskegon now 5 for 10 on third down conversions. 1st and 10 from the 26. Little swing pass to Marcus Smith, who's back in there. Gain of just 1 on the play. It's good to see one of the offensively talented Smiths back in the Big Reds offense. Second and 9. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining as we approach 6 minutes left in the Division II championship. Deshaun Thrower in for Jalen Smith. We'll put this one up top. That is over the head of both receiver and defender. Marcus Smith and Jason Alessi could not get to the football. 3rd and 9.
Well, the mindset of that man, Shane Fairfield's got to be right now. It's 3rd and 9, but we have 2 downs.
Absolutely.
This is 4-down territory, so we got 2 downs to make 9 yards, which means every one of your veer plays, the midline, inside, outside, all still can come into play here.
They need to get to the 16, or yes, to the 16 for a 1st down.
They got Hodges matched up outside, man to man, all by himself against Delamonte.
Here comes a blitz. Good tackle by John Reschke on John King before King could haul that one in.
And that happened because Reschke is keying King. He's keying the fullback in that situation. So when he sees King step up and just turn around, keep an eye on Reschke, 33, right in the middle of your screen. He's reading, he sees a lineman coming out after him. He gets underneath the block. That is linebacker play. You see him beat the block, big number 57, Noah Tozer's coming out to get him. He does not allow him to get there. He reacts quickly and makes the play.
Big play now, 4th and 9. Muskegon down by a touchdown. Under 6 minutes to play. Thrower puts it up. Oh, almost caught, but there is a flag on the play. Sherman Hodges. Defending on the play was Anthony Delamonte, and it would seem that Delamonte is going to get called for pass interference.
And it's a good call. Delamonte never locates the ball. He never plays the ball, and he impedes Hodges' chances of catching the ball. You see that left arm come out into him. He turns late on the ball.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And you can see the back of Hodges kind of get pushed back. That's the hand of Delamonte getting on him. Thrower liking at first not what he sees, and he says, yep, we got the flag, and it's a wonderful call, Mr. Official.
So from 4th and 9 to 1st and 10, thanks to the penalty.
And you know, Delamonte's defense, they're putting a lot of pressure on him out here, covering Hodges. We talked about Muskegon putting their corners on an island, John. The brother Rice is doing the exact same thing.
From the 12. Thrower. Keeper. Jones and Cherokee. Said not so fast to Deshaun Thrower.
You see Kevin Henry also getting up the field quickly. They're blowing things up right now before they can get going. They can't even really get to the pitch part of the option. They're attacking the mesh point. They're attacking inside, and it's just throwing all the timing in the path. You have to maintain a path when you run an option as a quarterback, and right now he can't even get on that path.
From Muskegon. Pitch. Demetrius Brown is spun down to the turf after a gain of 4.
Another look at Jason Alessi. Played a solid game. He's out there on an island in pass coverage, but also against a toss. He reads it inside. He's going to fight off the block. Marcus Smith can't hold him long enough. Alessi's shown coverage skills, he's shown catch-up speed, he's shown some physicality, dealing with the one-on-one blocking scheme. He's really at a complete game.
And he's the kicker, made 3 extra points. Timeout has been called by Muskegon as they face a big 3rd and 9. The broadcast of this game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Fox Sports Detroit. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and Fox Sports Detroit.
You know, once again, our spotter, Joey Amerson, always points out these kind of neat facts. And if you look at Muskegon's record in the state finals, their last 3 state championships, they beat De La Salle, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Rice trying to break a trend here. Muskegon's been having its way with the Central Division of the Catholic League.
Breaking some Catholic League hearts.
But right now, Brother Rice has the upper hand. Big 3rd down and 8 coming up for Deshaun Thrower in this Big Reds offense.
Part of the reason why the Muskegon Big Reds had so much hope this season were the fact that they had all the linemen back. And what makes us go, said head coach Shane Fairfield, is our athleticism and the big guys up front. And they have motored down the field. Trying now for the tying score, facing a 3rd and 9 with 4:29 left. Thrower. Pitch. Marcus Smith around the outside. Touchdown.
Wow, what a play. What a gutsy call by Shane Fairfield. They just went option. When they squeezed down on the quarterback, Smith was able to get the edge. Someone did not set the edge defensively. And a little bit different look for them when they came over 2 backs. Alessi came flying over, but not enough speed to catch up with Marcus Smith, who was able to get to the pylon.
We can see the sheer speed in Marcus Smith, who was shaken off the effects of his own gimpy ankle. And now there is the chance for a tie. Adrian Brazino knocks that through. We're at 21-21. 4:22 left in the Division II championship game. Thanks to Marcus Smith and his 11-yard scamper to the end zone.
Well, Muskegon, just nice drive by the Big Reds, tying it up 21-all. We're going to pause it. It's going to start out here. You're going to have man-to-man blocking. The options are going to come. Next thing you're going to see is there's 2 backs. One's hidden here, so they're going to run the fullback here and then the pitch outside. They belly it, they fake the king, and now they got the option. Forced to pitch. Thrower gets it outside to Marcus Smith, and the receivers did just enough outside to tie up the defensive backs long enough to allow Smith to get to the corner.
Yeah, not necessarily crushing blocks by the receivers on the Brother Rice defensive backs, but it was just enough. Goal line, touchback, out to the 20 it will come.
Here's a look at Marcus Smith and how fitting that he gets a touchdown in that drive after the unbelievable play he had, the 15-yard gain, which he ran about 70 to keep that drive alive, and rewarded with a touchdown in the end. And we knew coming in this was going to be an outstanding game, and we have not been disappointed.
Marcus Smith is also the leading receiver for Muskegon. And true to form, Brother Rice alternating quarterbacks, and it's Alex Malzone, the sophomore, coming in. 91 yards for Malzone. 1st and 10. Handoff. Powell. Oh, he spins out of trouble and finds some more. But a gain of about 3 very, very tough yards for Sean Powell.
Well, that's 3 tacked down to their total of 56 yards in the entire second half. Only 3 first downs. Mike Braddock just gave us some information here, which we appreciate. You know what? you know, John, our statisticians, sometimes we overlook them, but we're only as good as our help up here because we can't keep track of everything. But Rice now, second half has struggled, so maybe Malzone with his throwing ability can give him a shot in the arm.
2nd and 7. Little flea flicker. Oh, Malzone puts it up. He's got a man wide open. It's Corey Lockenaria. Touchdown. 77 yards on the flea flicker. The handoff, the flip back to Malzone. He finds Lockenaria, who takes it the distance for the go-ahead score with under 3.5 to play.
Well, it's a little pitch back. They hand it off on the dive, and they just toss it back. It's going right up the middle. Let it go. Going to hand it on the dive. Turns around. Walker pitches it back. And now you can pick and choose if you're Malzone, because both receivers were 10 yards behind the defensive backs. You can see Devontae Dockery trying to recover, but they all bit up. Deshaun Thrower. Wow, Rice hits quickly. After Muskegon grinds out a drive of 80 yards to tie the game, Rice just comes back and just returns the heavyweight punch. As we've said, this has been a heavyweight fight, and man, what a call. Coach Al Fracassa pulling all the tricks out of his bag here today.
Alessi trying to make it 28-21, and does.
We're going to look on the other side. I said he could take his pick either way. Sherman Hodges is going to bite. He goes right by as well. Josh Fry, he was open. A little disappointed at first, but I guarantee when he saw the ball sailing the other side to his classmate, he was happy.
But that's what we've talked about. It's a play in the 2nd or 3rd quarter that could have set that up, getting the defensive backs to bite.
Draw them up,
yeah.
Draw them up, go up over the top, and that's, you know, people say you call a game as offense coordinator, you call play by play. You don't. You call a play, but you're thinking 2-3 plays ahead. Sometimes you're thinking series ahead. And this was set up. That's a sophomore staying in the pocket around the pressure, delivering the ball right on target. This kid is going to be something special before he leaves Brother Rice.
And look at the smile on the face of Alex Malzone.
You probably think he's good. If they win this game, he go over to his friend's house and celebrate. You'd have to have mom drive him, though.
It might be a bruised rib. Might be a bruised rib based on that celebration. Alessi will knock it along the turf. And here comes Muskegon. There's Thrower, the quarterback, brought down by Grant Perry, and Deshaun will get it out to the 25-yard line, 23-yard line or so.
Well, you have 4 plays, you get a first down. People say you always do. Well, not really. Usually during the game, you're going to go 3 and punt. Well, now you have 4. You're going to use all 4 because you're not going to punt the ball back to this team in this situation with only 3:22 remaining. And you only have one timeout left, so this is a do or die drive for the Big Reds.
In the corner of your screen, along what we call the Fox box, you can see that Muskegon has only that 1 timeout left. The yellow dash showing 1 timeout for the Big Reds. Thrower throws it up. Almost hauled in, but we've got another pass interference call. Chris Carter making contact with Sherman Hodges.
Well, Hodges, he's trying to work his way to the inside. You see the left arm come in, really impeded. He's got the arm in there tight. A little bit of pushing both ways.
Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And again, it's one-on-one coverage.
I think it was at the very end that really made it decided for the official when Hodges was trying to bend back into the field of play, and the arm up in by Carter was not allowing him to do so, and the official threw the flag. Now, I like this. It's, you know, it's not like the NFL where that's going to be a 40-yard penalty.
Yep. Takes it out to the 38-yard line of Muskegon and gives Deshaun Thrower and company a first down. Hang on, everybody. It's going to be a great finish. Thrower, pitch. On the left side goes Marcus Smith. Best hit on the play was to the cheerleader, we think. Or an assistant on the sideline.
Watch Marcus Smith when he gets this pitch. He's going to give just a little bit of a dead leg. Other way, he's just enough to freeze him right there, just a little bit of a hitch. This allows him to get to the corner around Plasky and force Reschke to run him out of bounds. But that little bit of a raise by the shoulders, the defender has to respect that. He raises, and then you shift gears, you go again, and nice job setting up a defender.
2nd and 3. Straight ahead goes John King. John Reschke with a stop. And it's first down yardage. They'll move the chains. Muskegon rumbles on almost to midfield at their own 49. 1st and 10. And Alfrecasa, who has seen lots and lots of football in his time, is going to see another dramatic finish. Throw it way up top. Got a man. Touchdown. Whoa, my. Keandre Craig hooking up with Deshaun Thrower. A 51-yard pitch and catch, and just like that, Muskegon answers. My goodness.
Well, you're putting so much pressure on the secondary of Brother Rice. You're locking man-to-man outside. And we're looking to throw a little bit of a play fake. Good protection. This takes a while to develop. Your line has to step up. And you're leaving Delamonte on an island all by himself. No safety help. No third help from the corner from the other side. And Keandre Craig just gets behind him. The ball is put right on the money.
A very important point after to come. It's up and good. A pair of 28s with 2.5 to play in the football game.
Well, this is just a go route. Right here, you go right down the number, right down the hash rather. Just gets the high side shoulder. No deep help at all. And as a quarterback, you just step back, throw it as far as you can, and allow your receiver, who you trust, to go and get the football and throw her. He's running just about as fast down to congratulate his receiver as Craig did catching it.
What a great story in this game that Deshaun Thrower has been. It's been Jalen Smith's team all season long. He is the biggest part of this Big Red machine, but he had to leave the game with a gimpy ankle, and so Deshaun Thrower has come in and has given his team life. 5 of 9 for 97 yards, the last 51, pulling his team even. Now Rice will get the ball back. The Warriors with 2 timeouts. How's your heart, Brother Rubik?
Oh, I could take a lot more of this. You know what?
It's good stuff.
You know what? You can stress me out about a lot of things, but this is money here. I'm watching just wonderful football, great crowd, good environment, 2 finely coached teams.
From the 4, it's Delano Madison. He'll throw it back the other way. And Alessi down the left sideline, looking for some running room, finds it. Alessi to the house. Oh my! No flags. Touchdown, Brother Rice.
The Music City Miracle.
My goodness.
Wow.
Alfrecasa might be 80, but his bag of tricks is limitless.
A throwback, absolutely a backwards pass, which makes it eligible to run. Marzak getting a nice block. Good job not making a block. Down the field, Walker getting enough, and Alessi. I told you this kid could run. I saw him run down Jalen Smith early in the game. And you got to remember now, he went all the way to the left side, all the way down, and then back across the field. He just ran about 110, 120 yards.
Officially 91 yards on the kickoff return for a touchdown. And
now he's got a kick.
Yeah, Alessi's got to gather himself.
I might take a timeout here. If you're Brother Rice, this gives you you're up going. You have 2 timeouts with only 2:13. Wow.
They're going to let him kick it. Got it. Breathless just doesn't begin to describe Jason Alessi. He's out of breath.
First of all,
breathless run.
It takes a nice throw. Good no block right there by Perkovic. Walker gets just a piece coming up the field of Tavon Jackson. And now Alessi cuts back against the grain. Most of the red shirts are running out of gas. Number 4, excellent condition athlete.
Well, you can see Jason looking over his shoulder, expecting that someone is going to reel him in, but nobody did. Have a day, Jason Alessi.
I know how to spell Alessi. That's MVP right there, boy. Those are some numbers. 12 tackles, 1 for a loss, 91-yard kick return. He's done it all, and he saved a touchdown, as I said, when he ran down Jalen Smith earlier in the game.
5 points after touchdown for Alessi as well.
And whoever his friends were that talked him into playing football, whoever the person was, they should be thanked.
All right, so now we'll see if Muskegon has an answer. They've shown big play potential. .2:13 to play. Alessi gasping for air, will put his foot into this one. And it will be down his knee trying to catch the ball. That is a tough break for Demetrius Brown. Trying to make sure that he fielded the ball completely. His knee touched the ground. The official was right there, and it's from there that Muskegon will begin their drive.
You know, I know people like to get on the officials, but every close call we've had here today in this game, everyone that we reviewed and had good camera angles at, the officials have been correct.
Well done, boys. Well done today. Officially, it's from their 4 that the Big Reds will begin. Down by 7. 2:11 to play.
I got a feeling Rice is going to give some help over the top. They'll give up the 10-yard veer now. You got to get some safety help. You just can't leave those 2 corners, Delamonte and Carter, on the island like you've been doing.
Twin receivers right. Handoff inside. Goes for almost nothing. As mentioned, this the second of the championships to be decided at Ford Field today. Harbor Beach with a big city in the Division 8 championship earlier today, led by Eli Kraft. Constantine and Ithaca coming up after this one. And then at 7:30 tonight on Fox Sports Detroit Plus, it's Detroit Country Day against Grand Rapids South Christian. 2nd and 8. Throw it. Will throw it. Intended target Sherman Hodges. There was some contact between he and Isaac Turner, but no flag this time.
Oh, Coach, defense coordinator Korzaneski now, he's not rolling the dice anymore. He's got help over the top. He's going to force Muskegon into trying to dink and dunk this ball down the field. Not going to give up the 51-yard touchdown pass. And I guarantee the happiest ones out here are the 2 corners.
3rd and 9.
Look at, they've got a little bit of cushion here, a little bit of cushion, but you got the help right over the top. And that's what, if you're Brother Reich, you want to see in those safeties. Don't bite up on the run.
Throw it from his end zone. Caught at the 2-yard line by Alberto Sandoval. And now on 4th and long.
Keep an eye on the safeties. They got to play back first. Their first step should be back. Look at them dropping deep on the 20. That allows the pressure. Rushke gets, or Perkovic gets in there.
And with just north of a minute to play, Muskegon will have to go for it, but they'll take a timeout before they do. That is their last timeout.
Well, things started heading south a little bit for the Big Reds early on in the 4th quarter. The pitch fumble picked up by Sean Jones sets up Rice with a short field. And then a touchdown that's going to ensue. The stretch play to Sean Powell, puts some great blocking. Marzak leading it. And Rice now feeling pretty good about themselves and their chances. But Muskegon not going to be outdone. They're going to go on the option. They get Marcus Smith running to the edge a little bit. A lot of fireworks here so far in the fourth quarter, John. Marcus Smith just out racing Jason Alessi to the pylon for the score. And then now the big pass. Thrower gets it on the field, and he finds Keandre Craig behind the defender. Now Rice really getting back into it, but special teams have been special for Brother Rice. The throwback pass, and then Jason Alessi says, let me go. And he gets down the sideline, picks up a couple good blocks, a couple good no blocks, cuts back against the grain, and shows some tremendous speed, taking it all the way to the house. What a backbreaker. 35 points scored between the two teams in this quarter. Now I want to do the next game. See, now they got me all fired up. I'm ready.
What a football game it's been. It's a touchdown lead for Rice. 4th and 12 for Muskegon. The last gasp for the Big Reds here. Thrower. It falls incomplete. And Brother Rice, it would seem, is headed to a successful defense of their state championship. Muskegon with no timeouts left, under a minute to play. And the Warriors will take over on downs on the doorstep.
And amazing that in the storied history of Brother Rice, never have they won back-to-back championships. But this will be a first.
If in fact they get it, it would be their 8th. In recent time, they won in 2000, 2005, and 2011. And they'll go into victory formation here. Up by a touchdown with Shane Lockenaria back in at quarterback.
And I don't know that they've been alternating possessions for the quarterback. I guarantee even if this wasn't his turn, they'd let the senior quarterback, knowing Coach Al Fracassa.
Oh my goodness! My goodness! It looked like he went to down the ball and it slipped out of his hands. Demetrius Brown picks up the fumble.
Are you kidding me? Let's take a look at this.
Take a knee.
Oh, and he snaps it short. No timeouts now for the Big Reds. They're going to have to throw past the sticks. But when you got some players and some athletes outside like they do, and we've seen the type of speed they have, you can just start throwing it up, and hopefully someone in the same colored jersey as the quarterback can make a play. And Rice, in the same vein, has got to stay back, keep people in front of you. They can catch underneath you, you don't lose, but they catch it behind you, and they could tie the game up.
Thrower from his end zone. Got a man. Sean Hodges.
They got to throw to the sticks.
Has it stripped. He had it stripped. They're calling him down.
Now they're going to start the clock. I said that's so, you know, before that play, John, you have to throw to the sticks. You can't throw short because it's going to cost you 20 seconds of game clock.
Thrower. Keandre Craig. Got to get out of bounds, young man. Cannot. Out to the 30.
Yeah, you got to spike the ball.
18.
Little kill play here. Get up and just spike the football. It'll be under center.
We'll pause for the chains to be moved.
You don't want to throw it off the leg of your lineman because it's be called for illegal touching.
We've seen about everything in this game.
I think they have time for 2 more legitimate plays. They got to get one about 30 yards on the field, which will probably take you 8-9 seconds. Then you can come up and spike the ball, and they give one chance to throw it into the end zone. A little hook and ladder here. We can watch him come across the middle. I'm getting advice from analyst of the next game, Johnny Wangler's up here with me, and I always take advice from a former Michigan man.
2nd and 10. Thrower. Craig spins inside. Stiff arms. Beyond midfield now before John Plaskey brings him down. A gain of 21.
Just get up under center, let the official spot the ball, spike the ball, and then you can get one throw into the end zone.
Five ticks left. 5.
It's an amazing game football, isn't it? I mean, this game was done. I was already given congratulations, and you said if they win. And right when you said if they win, I'm thinking, what are you talking about, Keats? They're on the 3 going in. They just got to take a knee for one play. Well, Joe Pisarcik for the Giants one time?
Right, yeah,
that's
the Eagles quarterback, yeah.
He fumbled the snap on a kill play, and they end up losing the game.
All right, it'll be the last snap of regulation. That much of which we are sure, barring a penalty. Thrower. Trying to buy some time. Here comes Rice. He'll throw it up top. It falls incomplete. That's it. Brother Rice has, in fact, defended their state championship. What a football game.
At the risk of sounding cliché-ish, you hate to see a loser in this game.
That might be one of the best football games at any level I think I've ever seen. Muskegon without their star quarterback in it till the very end. Wow.
Shake hands.
Big deep breath here. We'll regather. Brother Rice has won a championship barely. Congratulations to the legend, Al Fracassa.
Hats off, Al Fracassa. 80 years old, still ticking. What a great game, Keats. It was a pleasure to call it with you.
Been great being with you, Rob. Once again, the final score, Brother Rice 35, Muskegon 28. So for Rob and Shannon Hogan, I'm John Keating. You've been watching the MHSAA Football Finals on Fox Sports Detroit. So long from Ford Field.